Hi everybody, welcome to the channel for the third game of this small one-day tournament of my club. I was facing this time Saurian Ancient with the following list. He was playing an Archmage on Alchemy, sorry the list is in French, but I will try to translate quickly. So we have the Archmage Alchemy with the 2 spell of Pyro, then he had the reroll of the first failed dispel, he had a Cayman Master on Vital Essence, he had then a Poakai, a Veteran Skink on the Poakai with the 6 attack strength 4 poison. He had a small skink within a unit of Chameleon. He had then 9 Cayman Warrior in core with Halberd, 25 Teguard, 12 Skink Warriors. Then he had a small unit of 16 Teguard with Champion and Standard to have the Archmage within, 4 Raphodon Riders, Chameleon, the Titanopod with BSB, and then he had 3 Stegosaur to finish the list. We were playing all the ground on diagonal, so very explosive matchup, and as you will see, we had plenty of fights, so it's going to be an interesting battle, and below you have the spell selection in case you're interested. Matchup analysis, so potentially explosive matchup on all the ground. Basically, we need to fight in the middle. We have a small variation on this version of all the ground. Basically, the organizer put a rule that to score all the ground, so to score the middle, you need to put characters. So character count, every individual character count as one scoring unit for the purpose of all the ground. So that's the small modification. Yeah, I would be happy to start if I can. Board control is key in this type of matchup, and as you probably know, you're quite often happy to start on all the ground to get some board control. Ambush could be hard to manage. I need to protect the key zone to restrict where he could ambush, but as you know, Papquai is kind of hard to predict where he goes because he has ambush, open train. His range damage shouldn't do that much except the Chameleon that can do some wounds on the Kadim Titan, but other than that he shouldn't do too much to me with his magical setup, and I estimated the matchup as being slightly positive in my favor, mainly due to the secondary objective. Deployment wise, I wander also aside, so I pick the hill. I gave him the impassable, and also I like the fact that on his strong part of the map he has a ruin to go through, which is not nice. On his weak part he has a forest that can break some steadfast, could constrain his deployment. As you can see, he has some big footprint, so I kind of like this side of the map. And after that, to my surprise, he let me deploy for first turn, which I happily did. I put 1 Titan on each side, so left side Rocket, bottom side Naphtha, the 2 slaves. I debated a bit whether or not I should put the slave on it elsewhere, but basically here I'm at risk of losing some. I would be no matter what out of the bubble, so I didn't find any convenient spot to put the second unit, so I just put them close to each other. So slave, Titan. We could have as well done a 2 white column somewhere in the middle, could have worked as well, so yeah, didn't matter much at the end. We have the Vassal in the back with the character here to be able to score the all the ground, then the Bastion with the 2 character to score the all the ground as well, the Overlord also being in the middle at the beginning, the Disciples of Lugar and the second unit of Vassal Levies in the back. And on his side he put the Raphodon the Stegosaur on the left, the Cayman Master, the Cayman Warrior, then here are the Spear, Titanopod, Teguard, Skinks and Raphodon Rider, and he had in ambush the unit of Chameleon and the Poakai character. What surprised me a bit is the fact that he did this type of double battle line, so obviously he struggled to fit everything on the front line, but I think it would have been much better to have a consistent battle line and to put those guys more in the front to threaten me, because here I can easily, as you will see on turn 1, push here, get a range to start shooting and do damage on the Cayman Warriors without being threatened by any dangerous charge. So I'm start to pushing. As you know, it's the motto of this tournament for me, it's pushing forward. So I placed Bastion within 12 to get the strong Grave Call and also Bastion shot on this Cayman unit Warrior. On the left, I was a bit more patient, put the Overlord on the hill as well as the Lugas, and then on the far left, I placed this Kadim Titan within 18 of the Stegosaur, so I leave him with a long charge, but at the same time I can shoot him. He's out of the forest with them, so 4 shot multi-wound on 5+ is quite interesting. I placed Vassal, have some line of sight on the Stegosaur, then the other Vassal move a bit forward, and on the right, I took a bit of time to make some calculation, and I felt This could be interesting to frenzy bait him. He's out of the bubble, I guess. And basically, if he charged me, he has a lot of attack. He's going to be stubborn because he marked this Canim Titan. So it's going to be a lot of attack. It's going to be hatred and stubborn, but it's only strength 4. Meaning, I have a ward save, I have resilience 6. Could be hard to get through my resilience. And at the end of the day, it doesn't get through, then I might as well hurt him because I'm like 6 attack, 3 up, 2 up, 1 grind. So I felt it looks interesting, and I wanted to get an advantage on a key part of the map here to then move towards the center, because as you can see in the center, he's quite strong. Fortunately for me, far away from me, because I only have slaves, so pretty much nothing. And for example, those Tegu warriors could easily, push forward. The Titanopod as well could create something in one part of the map that could be key. So I'm looking to get rid of those guys before they move around and threaten my backline, because I could be in danger. In the magic phase, I got Gravecall, strength 6, did 6 wounds on the Cayman, which is great. Shooting, I did another 2 wounds, and then shooting on the left, got 1 rocket shot through and did 2 wounds to the Sigio. So a great turn 1. His turn 1, I took a charge with Sigio on 11 Swift Ride on my Canim Titan, and here I felt it was a bit of a risk because I have no counter charge setup. If he makes it, still plenty of poison, strength 5 attack. Could be a bit dangerous. I have no counter charge, so I felt here I could have, for example, the Overlord in a position to at least counter charge. I think that would have been enough here because I don't need. I already have Lugars and the Bastion looking at them, so I felt the Overlord could have been in a better position, getting ready to get a counter charge or something. So yeah, I felt this wasn't the right choice. Here, I mainly put the Overlord for the secondary, but as you see, I don't really need it. So I felt the Overlord would have been way better pushing on the flank and doing some nasty stuff elsewhere. So not great. Here, he took the bait. He told me, I don't take frenzy, I charge you no matter what. So he charged me. Other than that, no other charges. But as you will see, he took an approach that I think translated in English, it's called magnitude approach, which is basically taking high risk, high reward choice. Things that have not a great likelihood to succeed like 25%, something like that, but if they do, they can be very dangerous for me. So that's going to be this approach for the whole game, and this is going to be very interesting because it can be very explosive. So we'll see how that goes. This charge was on a 7, which is got. On the magic phase, he got +2 armor save on the Cayman to protect them a bit. He got 2d6 strength 4 on the Bastion, which has a 3 up and then a 5 up, and he still managed to do 2 wounds to the Bastion unit. And then I save all my dice to dispel Silver Spike on the Overlord. So he had 3 dice against my 5. He still got that through. He wounds me on a 3+. I failed my ward save, and he rolled the 3 wounds. So yeah, that's harsh. That's harsh. Turn 1, I have an Overlord that's already near death. And that had plenty to do in this game. As you can see, I mean, that's multi-wound stuff with regen, multi-wound stuff. Plenty of juicy target for Onyx Core, and I'm already forced to move back. So this is not great. The combat on the right, I put you the stats here. So as you see, the Renfordant with 5 attack each on Hatred, Lethal Strike should do between 2 and 3 roots on average, plus the charge. And I should do between 3 or 4 wounds on average, plus either 0 or 1 wound from the grind. So basically, yeah, like 4 wounds to me, and he 2 to 3 wounds. So it should be a tie combat. And then second round, it's much worse for him because he's not age read anymore. So this is pretty much what happened. I think I did like how much did I do? I think I left. Yeah, I did like 4 wounds. So I think 3 from the Titan. Or 4 from the Titan and 0 from that. But basically I did 4 wounds, so I killed 2 models. And he did like 2 wounds to me, I guess. So, which is likely. My turn 2, I counter charge with the slaves, but no matter what, he's stubborn. But just to force the break check, even if I fluff, I'm sure to not get too much in trouble. Other than that, I didn't attempt any charge this turn. Put my Overlord back behind the hill, ready to zone a bit. I give him again the 11 Swift charge with me being able to shoot him outside the forest, and this time I have the Overlord that has a good line of sight. I also place my Vassal to be ready for any ambush incoming, especially in the key zone in the middle. The Lugas reform 5 wide. I felt he has so many units here. The risk could be a big counter charge, so I prefer to have a small frontage, and that's still enough attack. The Bastion basically plays himself again in the middle. I have 2 characters in the middle, which should be enough to be 1-0 at the end of the round. And that's pretty much it. In the magic phase, I got Gravecoal on the Cayman Dispelled. I got Toxic Breath on myself, which is nice because he got +2 armor save this round. But I do only 1 wound to the Cayman. And then the Bastion shoot again on the 6-up on the Cayman. Do again 2 wounds, which is not bad. Close combat, I do some wounds. He's alive with 1 model. And he's stubborn on a 6 minimize, which he pass. Yeah, that's his stat. This round he should do 1 wound to me, basically. Which I think he did. So I think I'm on 4 wounds remaining right now. Yeah, exactly. His turn 2, he ambushes. So he took a couple of charges. First of all, as I told you, high risk, high reward. He took the Stigio again. I did no wounds from shooting, so I think it was interesting for him to try to go for it again. Took the 11 charge, didn't get it, fortunately for me. Ambush with 2 units, so here you have the Chameleon with the character, and here you have the Poakai guy. He took the charge on the 6 and 7 from both the Cayman unit, which hasn't so many guys left. I happily stand and shoot and kill some more wounds. He took the Cayman in as well. So fortunately for him, he got both, because if it's only one, I think it's pretty sure that he auto breaks. And even now, I think I'm in great shape, actually. As you can see, I have a counter charge setup, which is not chaffed. He could potentially also break directly from combat. I have good line of sight everywhere, so I felt good about that. Here we stuck in combat. He moves the skink somewhere to shoot me next round, and that's pretty much it. Also to tempt me maybe to charge here in the ruin and get some poison shot. Magic phase, he got 2d6 strength 4 on the slave, kill 1, didn't matter much for me. He got the breast weapon from the Poakai, killing 4 of the vassal here. And then shooting, this rolled crazy. I mean, 20 poison shots, should do on average 1 to 2 wounds, managed to do 6 wounds, which is below 1% average percent chance, so very unlikely. But my Kadim Titan here on the left is on 1 wound remaining, which is crazy. I mean, yeah, I have a 5/5 so crazy. But one thing that he didn't show is that this Overlord has a line of sight here to this guy in the back, meaning I will be able to counter charge here. So at least that's that. And close combat, what happened should happen. I mean, this guy was only in contact, I think he could only charge this way, so he was in contact with my champion. He like fluffed. I think he killed only 2 total. He was in auto break. He fled. He broke from combat. He fled. And now for me, that was a key time where I needed to choose what do I want to do. Obviously, it's his turn, so it's very, very tempting to pursue. And spoiler alert, I did pursue. But I could have restrained as well. I felt if I pursue, first of all, I can get rid of the nasty Cayman character, which could be really nice. We both roll 2 dice, so maybe I get rid of him. I can get into very good position to charge next round, so could offer me some good opportunities. We will see how that goes. So I decided to pursue. Ended up just 1 inch short of both units, more or less. So he fled like 9, 8, and I rolled 7. And now I have a big decision to make. Let me explain you what I have, and then you can think about what you would have done, and you will see afterwards what I did. So as you saw, they are like near the forest, the boss unit, and the bastion is here in the front. So I have the Lugar that have a long charge on both unit. I have the slave that have a long charge on only the Cayman. I have the Titan that has a long charge on this guy and like a mid-range on them, but I'm on 1 wound remaining, you should remember. And that's pretty much it. And what I took a bit of time to think about all the options, because if I double charge with the Bastion on these 2 units, I will end up somewhere. Depending on his role, I could potentially fail charge. You always, in this kind of situation, for people maybe who have less experience in tournament, also in games, in this kind of situation, you need always to remember one thing. What happens if things go bad? And I think that's always this kind of outcome that you need to keep in mind, because it's key for decision making. And in this case, what could happen is potentially I charge, I charge, he flees, I don't catch him, I end up here in front of the forest, I can get flank charged by this type of unit. Not great, right? So basically the Bastion cannot charge because of this risk. The same here, if I charge that, charge with something else that, and then redirect here, it's still something. I mean, Dwarves, movement 3, so it's not automatic. If I fail this charge, I get charged by the Teggy Guard in the flank. Even if it's likely that I make it, I don't want to risk that. I'm in control of the game. No way. I mean, there is no way to. There is no real. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense basically to take this type of risk when you are in control of the game. And here I see my mistake. That pursuing was probably a mistake because I put back in the game 3 units that were completely out, or that were at this moment out of the game. And I need to figure out a smart solution. So the solution that I did make is charge a slave onto this guy. This guy is the Cayman. Make them flee here. Charge, I think I did the Lugar first. The Lugar onto the Cayman master fled this way. Stay on the board. Redirect the charge. Charge the Siege Azor on a 9. Then I charge a slave onto those guys. They fled. And the Bastion just move into a good position, out of line of sight. I measured that before, obviously. Out of line of sight of the Teggy Guard. I elected not to charge the Bastion on the Siege Azor, which was an option. But if he just flees from that, what do? Redirect check. I can charge that. I can push something else off the board, but then something will see me in the flank, which I didn't like much. So I elected against doing that. Could have been an option as well. I mean, if he stays, he stays. If he flees, the Stygia are out of the picture, then I can redirect here, but just the situation of failing this charge was for me too much of a risk of just losing the game, because here in this unit I have BSB, General, everything, so I cannot afford that. So that's what I did. We ended up that way, everything stays on the board. I make the Lugar on a 9, which was an important charge, I think on the left flank, because it allows me to do plenty of stuff. I took the charge, here I was less lucky because he had exactly 6. If he rolled a 6, that was the perfect outcome for him, and that's what he did. With a 7 or more, he was out of the table. With a 6, he was still on the table, and this gives me a charge on double 6 Swift Stride. And if it's less than that, then I have an easier charge to complete. Obviously, I failed the double 6, which exposed me to Prokai charging me in the back, which I didn't care too much. I placed my Kadim Titan to shoot at the Prokai, move those guys out of the line of sight. Those guys moved a bit, attempted also. No, they couldn't charge, they just turned around to shoot. Okay, let's move on to Magic Phase. Sorry, I took a bit of time to explain the movement, but I think it was really interesting to analyze all those options to see what makes the most sense. And I think here, considering the position at the start of turn 3, I think I made the sensible choices here. And also the slaves on the right charge on an 8 onto those guys. Were a bit lucky to not suffer between the wounds from stand and shoot and DTs, not get any panic check. And here also something important to mention on the movement phase. After I took the picture, that's what I like also to take the picture. It gives me a last opportunity to check if the decision I made on the movement phase were right. I corrected the movement of the Kadim Titan, which I decided to put him here on the left, as you will see on the next picture, to be ready to countercharge because the action was going to be here. And I realized at this point of time that, yeah, it could be interesting to have him as a countercharger and not completely out of the game like that. In Magic Phase, he dispelled Gravecall. I got Hereditary on the Siege Azor to make sure the Lugar go through, and then that was it. I think the Bastion kills 2 of the Saurus with his shooting attack. Yeah, he passes, I think, a save on the Prokai to not suffer nothing from the shooting here, so that's fine for him. And then on the close combat, here I broke those guys. I failed my restrain and pursue a bit. Here I kill all of them, or they fled off the board, but I think I killed all of them. And just reform, ready to countercharge. And that was it for my turn. His turn 3, so I charge both the Titanopod and the warrior, Saurus warrior, on my Bastion, which is going to be interesting. I have a stand and shoot, so I was able to kill some more warriors before combat, which is always nice. He make all 3 rallies, so this one a 7, a bit shaky. Those 2 rerollable checks, warriors and the characters, so that was fine for him, so he's back on the table with them. Those guys were out, and I think, and here you see the new positioning of my Titan ready to countercharge here. Here I think he would have pushed a bit more the warriors. You see the position didn't move much, a bit forward, but he could have pushed them, I think, just to give me the choice to charge here or be ready to countercharge, make my chaff option harder. He took the Poakai in the back of my Overlord, which is a risky choice, but I have only 1 wound left. If he kills me, it's perfect for him. I mean, it's panic check here 7. He has an overrun on them. I have only 1 wound on him. Next round he can move, shoot, and then he has won completely the left flank. In the magic phase, he did make a silver spike on the Titan, which surprised me a bit. I let that go. It didn't moon me, so nothing. I didn't get the +2 armor that I was really eager to dispel. I think he should have focused on combat buff here, which makes the most sense. So happy, I think happy outcome for me from these choices in magic phase. Close combat. So I have stat on the left first. So we have that's below the stat of him killing me. So as you can see, not so likely. Yeah, the Overlord is very tanky. So he has like one chance over 3, like 30 something, I think in combined percentage, like 30 or 40% chance of killing me, which he didn't do. And then the Overlord, I mean, yeah, that's the 5 attack hatred on 3 up or 2 up, 2 up, or 3 up, 2 up. I think so, 3 up rerollable and then 2 up, and that's the attack from the bull, and I just kill him outright. So well done, Overlord, well done. Then we are have this big combat. That's what the Titanopod should do. So as you can see, quite a lot. I remember he rolled amazingly well on the Stomps attack and did something like 9 or 10 only with the Stomps, plus another 2 wounds. I think with the Titanopod alone, he did 12 wounds. So he killed most of the blunderbuss in one go. I passed my steadfast check, rollable on a 9, and it's going to be my turn 4. My turn 4. So I countercharge with the Kadim Titan on the 4 on the flank of Titanopod, which was a key role of the game, obviously. Because as you can see, I have only like 5 blunderbuss left, plus BSB and the general in the back. I took 2 charges here on the left. I had the Overlord on the 9 Swift Ride and those guys on the 8. I make the Overlord, try to get rid of them. He did nothing with stand and shoot, which was perfect. I marched the Lugars in front of the 2 Cayman units to chaff them. I moved the 1 wound remaining Rocket Titan to shoot. I was just inside the forest to shoot at the Cayman Vital Essence with regen. Maybe I can do something on him. And I marched the slave forward to chaff those guys. So I'm in a great shape at this point of time. Move those guys in the middle to score another point. So that's 2-0 at this point of time, which makes him less likely or not so likely to get, because it's 2-0. So now what can he do? He can charge here, try to get in the middle, but I still have a scoring unit plus the mage, so I can give away the scoring and keep the mage to continue to score, or at least tie up, and that's enough. I just need to tie up the turn 5, and that turn 6, it's not enough for him to win it. So that guarantees me the secondary, basically. In the magic phase, yeah, guarantee me. It depends a bit, because if he charge, he would need to overrun. But then it's very risky if I turn around, charge him. So I think it's just too risky for him to try to tie up this round. Magic phase. And also I forgot to mention, last round, if I realized the danger of the Titanopod and so on, I could have fly away the Bastion. I think here was a bit of a risk to take this combat. As we saw, I lost so many blunderbuss. So magic phase, I got... he dispelled the ward save spell. And then I got a breath weapon, toxic breath weapon on the Bastion, which was nice. But unfortunately for me, first of all, I misplay Asheruk attribute. I think it's kind of hard to keep in mind what you should do with the attribute of Asheruk when you got them. I forgot most of them. I forgot that I could cast that, because between the boosted version, non-boosted version, you're sometimes a bit lost. And this time I remember about it, but for some reason I decided to put Alchemical Alloy on this character to prevent him going in combat, but makes no sense. Should have put it on Titanopod to boost the stat. That's the basic stat of the Kadim Titan. Hitting on a 3-up, wounding on a 4-up. And obviously 4-up rollable plus the grind attack rollable changed a lot. So totally stupid for me for not having that. I still managed to do, I think, totally 2 wounds to him. 1 or 2 wounds. I had a charge, a flank, a big flank. And his stomp attack was split between the characters and the unit, which he ended up killing the whole unit. I killed some Saurus, and basically he lost by 2. And as you can see, if I get alchemical alloy, I think he would lose by at least 4. So yeah, that's a bit disappointing. He lost by 2. Disappointing is my decision, not the roll. He lost by 2, passes the Saurus, and the Titanopod fails, which is huge. So Titanopod fled all the way here. He passes those 2 panic check at least, but Titanopod is out of the game, and I think that's pretty much the game breaking point where he cannot really recover from that. Here, those guys, I think he took the challenge, he broke, I restrain. And that's the position at the end of my turn 4, which basically is, I am now in a very good shape because he cannot do anything with them. Here it's only 5 Saurus left. Those guys cannot charge anything relevant, so significant, so that's perfect. His turn 4 didn't move much here. He decided to charge. He told me, I don't care, I go into combat. So high risk, high reward. Magic Phase, Silver Spike on my Titan that has 4 wounds remaining. I managed to pass the ward save. I couldn't die in one go. I was focused on dispelling buffs again. I think here again, misplay from his part, should have buff in combat. He got the +1 resilience on the character, but I have alchemical alloy on him, so it doesn't matter that much. And then here, I think his stick, I win by a bit, but his stick, here I broke him, only 1 guy left that fled this way and chaffed this unit. And then that's, yeah, the combat situation, that was with some nice close-up. And then my turn, I double charge the flank here, in case the Titan fail charge, but the Titan passes his charge, so I counter charge in the flank, that's going to be over. And in this case, the Bastion fail charge. Could have done, here he was chaffed no matter what, so I felt I want to be secure to have a counter charge in the flank. Just make that safe. The guys with only 1 wound left just moved away, and that's pretty much it. And that's slowly the end of the game. I mean, I'm going to kill that, going to try some more Silver Spike, which I'm going to dispel, and that's going to be it for this game. I ended up being 16-4, which moved to a 19-1 due to me winning the secondary objective, which was all the ground. So very lively game with a lot of action. Post-game analysis, so the center was mine from pretty much the beginning. I think his deployment can be questioned here. A battle line seems for me superior than having 2 lines. Turn 2 Saurian Enchant, I think I made a mistake to pursue. It was very tempting, because if I roll high, like a 10, then I have like automatic charge on the Saurus, break the Saurus. I mean, that's a game-breaking kind of action. But likelihood of having it compared to the likelihood in being in a kind of shitty spot should have helped me to decide not to pursue. Raven Swing was also a solution to move me. I think after I pursued, I could have Raven Swing away my Bastion and put me back in a better shape. So I think here I did also a mistake not thinking about this solution. Turn 3, Saurian Enchant, the Overlord performed really well in this close combat. The odds were in my favor, but you never know. Turn 4, Infernal Dwarves, a bit disappointed that I forgot about Alchemical Fire on the BSB. Was an easy choice that would have secured the combat, make more likely that he would break, which he did. Didn't cost me at the end, but still disappointing about the decision making here. Turn 4 Saurian Enchant, I think charging the Lugas was a side dial for the Cayman unit and character. I think there is no way that he can get through 20 Lugas, strength 6. And yeah, Saurian Enchant, I think made it an interesting game because he played magnitude approach, high risk, high reward. He went for all possible action and charges with his unit, which was very interesting to see a very interesting combat, dicey combat. And I ended up with 0 blunderbuss left in the Bastion unit at the result of that. So was an interesting game, very interesting. Guys, that's all for this battle report. I hope you liked it. Going to be a short recap, conclusion of the tournament, very short. 3 wins for me, so the tournament went well. I was able to get some aggressive moves, to push in all 3 games, get into interesting combat, so that was definitely very interesting for me. And I had some, yeah, pleasant discovery about matchups, the books that I face a bit less, which is Saurian Enchant and Empire. Try out stuff in combat to see if it was worth it or not. Took a bit of risk sometimes, so yeah, it was really cool to test the list this way. Anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching this battle report. Talk to you soon on the channel. Bye.